welcome back. My name is Lynn. Welcome to my home. I'm glad you're joining me today. Whew. What are we going to talk about today? Why am I throwing out fresh produce? That's the question today. All right, let's talk about it. Okay, why am I throwing out fresh produce? I can already hear, I hear it. Lynn, what are you doing? How can you do this? This is food. You can't throw out food. I totally agree with you. I agree. So, Jan, my friend Jan from New York City Saves Money, on her channel, she was just talking about this the other day and she kind of beat me to it. But hello, Jan, if you're listening. If you haven't checked out her channel, go over and check out her channel. But she was talking about overbuying. I think that was the direction she was going in, and that we're overbuying. So here's the thing. We're all trying to save money. We're all trying to save time. We're trying to do things conveniently. Many of us are very busy, and some of us are busy because of, we've just scheduled too many things and we need to cut back. And some of us are busy because that's what life has dealt us right now. We have cut back as much as we can. But then, sometimes it's just that week. You have a week and you're like, oh my goodness, that week is crazy. Well, my problem is I'm getting busier at weird times, and it's not scheduled necessarily. It's busy at the most inconvenient time because I just went and bought maybe fresh produce, or I just went and bought groceries, and I don't have the time to put them up like I need to. So that's what's been happening. So lesson learned from me. Am I overbuying? I am overbuying because my schedule has changed so much that I really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow with my schedule. Now, I don't know. Are you guys ever that busy? Are you ever that busy where life, you just turn around and you're like, I don't know how to do all this. So, in thinking through it, not wanting to waste money, not wanting to spend money on things that, I can buy all this fresh produce, but then if it goes bad, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of food, it's a waste of resources. I shouldn't be doing that. So I'm going to lean toward convenient food. Whatever that might be for you and me might be different. I'm not saying go to McDonald's. I'm not saying go buy a pizza. I'm not saying those. Now, that might be an odd occasion, yes. But let me explain to tweak what I'm doing. So let me show you, okay? Bought bananas. They smell ripe. Now, do I waste these and do they throw them out? No, these can be frozen, or I can turn them into immediate banana bread, or freeze them for smoothies down the road or banana bread down the road. So that is something I can preserve. There are other things that I had, which I no longer have. We had a cucumber that when you took it and it was in the bag, ew. But in looking at some of the things I currently have, example, I went and bought lightly salted rice cakes. I'm a huge rice cake fan. Oh. I have some tomatoes that I bought. We only used half of them, and they're starting to get that little look. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to roast these up with a little olive oil, salt and pepper, nice roasted tomatoes, and then I can chill them. Well, then I could either use cheese with them, or even, cottage cheese. Ever try that? Cottage cheese on a rice cake with some fruit? Oh, nice treat. Or I can use cream cheese, or I have these avocados. So I can do the avocado on the rice cake, and then I could freeze these. I could just freeze them as is and use them later in a sauce or something like that, or in a soup. Or I could roast them up, which is probably what I'm going to do. Roast them up, olive oil, salt and pepper, maybe even a little Italian seasoning. What are you thinking? Oh, a little lemon juice. Oh, now my mouth is watering. I love roasted tomatoes. And then I take them cold in a container, take my little convenient avocado, some rice cakes, and I've got a great breakfast, lunch, or snack, or whatever. Rice cakes, put the avocado on it, put the nice roasted tomatoes on there, and you've got a nice healthy snack meal, whatever you need. It's a cheap alternative to running out to McDonald's for a breakfast sandwich or doing whatever. Right? I think that's a good thing. I could get, there's 5 here. I could get 2 loaves of banana bread out of that, or we can get smoothies Lynn, don't waste the bananas. Now, if I left them another day or two on the counter, out the window, they gotta go. Okay, I have some apples that we have not eaten. Somebody gave me a handful, probably 8 apples, and you know, they're starting to get bruised a little. Do I throw them out? I don't need to throw them out. I can still salvage these. I can put them in the crock pot. I can make applesauce or apple butter. Or I can make an apple pie or an apple tart or an apple turnover, you know, any of those things. But what I was thinking of is maybe grating them down and making an apple bread or an apple cake or something like that. I have someone in my life who has been a support, a good person, and I've wanted to kind of just do something for them and say, hey, thank you. You know, how do you say thank you sometimes? Baking a cake or making some brownies or cookies or something homemade. That is the nicest gift to get. And I can make some nice apple bread or something like that out of that. I think that's what we plan to do. Okay, I have some peppers. I have this green one, and I have, never had peppers with strings. I guess that's right from the garden. But I have a green pepper and a red pepper. They're starting to show, like, you know, we need to use it up, like now. So I think what I'm gonna do is cut them up and freeze them up. You ever freeze your peppers before? I do it all the time. So I'm gonna cut these up. I'm gonna see if I have any onion that I can throw in here. I've wanted to make pepper steak. I have steak in the freezer. I haven't had the time. It's going in the crock pot, you know. Crock pots are great when you have the time, but I don't have the time sometimes to just prep. Don't waste the peppers, Lynn. Cut them up, put them in the freezer. Even if it's a week or 2 weeks from now, they'll be in the freezer. I can make my pepper steak, right? Okay, what are some other things? I just picked up, we have a little roadside stand. I'll put a picture up here for you. We picked up some corn, fresh Jersey corn. Oh man, if you haven't had fresh corn, you are missing out. Fresh Jersey, Pennsylvania farm corn. Oh my goodness. So convenience, right? Talking about some convenience food. This I picked up. This is Pennsylvania Dutch chicken flavored corn noodle. Whoop, where we go? There you go. Chicken soup, chicken corn soup. It's just the powder. It's got all the stuff in it. It was $4.36, and I would get about 3 pots of soup out of this. So $4.36, what are you talking, $1? Let's say $1.50 a pot of soup. Divide $1.50 times about 6 portions of soup. Not a bad deal, right? So here's what I did. Is this convenience food? Yes. Is it perfectly healthy in every way? No. There's going to be things in here that if you did it from scratch, you would not add. I don't have time to do from scratch. Here's the thing. You might not have the time. You might not have the energy. This is so convenient. But you know what I did the last time? I had a roast chicken a couple of weeks ago that I bought, a $5 pre-cooked roast chicken. We used that for a couple meals. I took all the leftovers and all the bones and the carcass and the whole 9 yards, threw it in the crock pot, and I made chicken broth, and I got a lot of chicken broth out of it. So I can take my own bone broth and I can use that with water, but use my own bone broth with this soup mix. But I've got fresh Jersey corn that I can cut off the cob, and I can throw that in my soup mix. Now, if you really want to get good, you cut off all the corn. You cook the corn, cut off the corn, freeze the corn, whatever you want to do, and then you take the cobs and you put those in a crock pot or something like that and cook them down, and it makes a nice rich broth. So I could take the corn cob broth with my bone broth and use it with this soup mix with this fresh corn. And if I really wanted to, I could even add some roasted tomatoes. Mwah, we have a delicious meal. And if you don't have time to make homemade bread in the oven, maybe use your bread machine. If you don't have time for the bread machine, fry bread, right? Remember I had a recipe on old-fashioned fry bread? That would go so good with this. Or just get some crackers or rice cakes or something like that. What a nice meal to have. Now that's using up the bits and pieces of produce I have, because I've had cucumbers I've had to throw out. I've had celery that didn't look like celery anymore. I don't really know what it looked like other than maybe an alien. We've had things that just go off. I've had to throw out because life has gotten so busy. So what am I doing for solutions? I'm using up what I have the best I can to salvage what is left, and not buying as much fresh, because even though I buy it, I don't know what the next few days are going to bring, and I have to use it up. So at this point in my life, using frozen vegetables, even canned vegetables if I needed to, is a better way to go. Even something like, and yes, I bought breakfast sandwiches. Yes, I did. Here's the thing. I don't even have time sometimes when I'm going all day. I get off work at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I literally am going to help a friend or family in need. Some of it's a bit of a crisis moment right now, helping them deal with what they have to deal with. If I don't get home to 8:30, 9:30 at night, I don't have time to meal prep. You know what, Lynn? Give yourself grace. Grab a breakfast sandwich. It's cheaper than stopping at the local Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks or McDonald's, and have that. Yes, I can do the rice cakes and the guacamole or the avocado and my tomatoes. That could be one day. I can use the bananas, make a banana bread, put some peanut butter and honey on it for another day. Sometimes you just want something like this. Another convenience thing is these are from Trader Joe's, the best macaroni and cheese I've ever tasted in my life. This beats, to me, any homemade, hands down. Can I make homemade? I can. I do it all the time. You know what? Sometimes Kraft boxed macaroni and cheese, a can of SpaghettiOs, or something like this. When you come home after a long day at work, I could do a little salad on the side. I could roast these tomatoes. I could put them right on top of this. Yep. You know, you could do things like that. Give yourself grace. Realize that you're not in this forever. This is not a forever. Whether you're tired, you're just cranky, life has dealt you with whatever, your schedule has gone crazy. People need your help. You got family and friends. Maybe you yourself, for whatever reason, are in a season of, I just can't do it all. Then don't. Don't feel like you have to do it all. Why are you throwing out produce? Probably because you've either overbought, like Jan said, or you're buying like me, and I'm in a season where I can't match my schedule up with my food and my menu, and nothing's jiving, and it's like this right now, and nothing is, I just can't get it to work. Stop the presses. You can stop. You can do frozen. You can do canned. You can live out of your pantry. You could do convenience foods like this, or semi-convenient, semi-homemade. Freeze up, use up, whatever you can do to get yourself through that season. I hope I gave you some good ideas and some good suggestions on things that, listen, a season of life can throw you for a curve. Grab that ball on that curveball, you grab it and you run with it. You get to first base, you get to second base, you get to third base. Before you know it, we have a home run and we're out of that season, and we'll go through the next season and we'll see what that brings us. But in that new season, you might be able to plan your menus better and do a little bit more fresh produce and kind of, I've got 2 weeks. It's going to be slower. I can do this. I can get back to some fresh produce. Again, it's not forever. It's just for a season. So if you need some grace, you go give yourself grace. If you need to have convenient foods for a while, you do that. And you've got to come back for my next video. I got a gift from one of you all that knocked my socks off and maybe my slippers off. So you got to come back and see what this viewer did for me. Beyond generous, beyond my imaginations. You blew me away. I can't even begin to tell you. But we're out of time, so you got to come back for the next video. All right, bye guys. Hope you have a great day today, whatever you do.